The Circle of Knowledge podcast is brought to you by Amplified Minds, helping entrepreneurs and professionals achieve their goals and aspirations by sharing a wealth of knowledge to you, our community of achievers. This podcast features best-selling industry resources, interviews, and the professional panel discussion by the core team at Amplified Minds. Now, here are their discussions. Awesome. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Circle of Knowledge podcast. I am super excited to talk to and interview with my good friend. And before I introduce him, I'm really excited because I've known this gentleman for a very small amount of time, very short amount of time. And it goes without saying, I have to introduce this person as a result of another friendship, another partnership that I've created as of recent times. And it has allowed me the opportunity to learn, communicate, connect with, and to understand a little bit more about the world of Mr. Shay Brown. And I'm going to bring him on the screen here in just a second, but I want to welcome everybody to the show. It's been a few weeks since we had our last episode. And the reason why is we're working on some really incredible and quality speakers. And one of the things that we've been focusing on as we've been growing this podcast is getting you content that will actually help you win at life and at business, to get you actionable items that will take you from 0 to 60 in 5.2 or less. And what I'm really excited to do today is to talk to you each and individually about how I came to know Mr. Shay Brown, and I'm bringing him up on the screen right now. Shay, thanks for joining me on the Circle of Knowledge podcast. You are awesome, my friend. And
well, it's a great day, John. Thanks for having me here, man. And thanks to all of those folks that are listening right now and those folks that are watching right now. Thank you, guys. My promise to you is that this will be a good use of your time. We appreciate you being here. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. And to John, thanks for having the vision for this Circle of Knowledge podcast. You know, it takes time away from your wife, time away from your kids, time away from your business, time away from your hobbies to bring this platform together to really help us get the knowledge. So I'm super fired up. I'm pumped. And I'm ready to go.
Yes. And two key things today. First of all, I love my conversations with Shay. Anytime you get in the room with him, anytime you get on a Zoom with him, he just brings the fire. He has so much passionate energy and he is such a knowledgeable person. But two things, Shay is joining us from my beloved favorite city of all time here in the United States. And despite what other people think, I absolutely love Washington, D.C., and it is one of the cleanest, most beautiful, and incredible and vibrant cities I have ever been to. And Shay is joining us just from the capital city there, and I am so excited to share that with him. Now, before we jump in, Shay, I want to tell everyone how you and I met, and I just want to confirm if you believe that that's the way we met.
Of course. I'm married, so there's always two sides to the story.
There is. Well, I can't go without sharing how we were connected through Mr. Awesome Eric Swanson and the Habitude Warrior community. In fact, before you and I were a part of a mastermind together, or before you and I were a part of anything, Eric pulls up the phone as we're in mid-conversation, mid-collaboration time for our mastermind, the Habitude Warrior mastermind. And he says, "Hey, you want to meet my friend Shay?" And I said, "Sure, let's jump on the phone." And I got the same exact continuous reaction that Shay did when he just jumped here on the show. He said, "Hey, John, I'm so excited to meet you." And he had all this passionate, excited energy. In fact, he had just finished a run and he answered the phone when Eric had called, and we had a great connection. And we had talked about your show, some of the things that you're doing. And we had also talked about a lot of the consulting that you provide as a professional, and how you're taking sales teams and businesses, beyond the needle of marketing that they usually set their sights on. When people set their sights, they're like, oh, it'd be nice to make 6 figures. And what we're going to talk about today is the 7-figure model. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the 7-figure sales team and how you build that. But I wanted to share with everybody just that brief but awesome interaction and introduction that we received through Eric Swanson. And I want to make a huge shout out to Eric, and I appreciate him for making that connection, because we wouldn't be here today doing this, giving you information and knowledge that we're about to share. And anyways, I wanted to just confirm, Shay, is that the story you would say that you received? Or
it's close enough for government work. It is close enough for government work. Indeed it was. We connected through Eric Swanson. I recall coming through, and I probably started off with saying, it's a great day, because every day is a great day when you're alive. But what I admire about you most, John, is doing these mastermind sessions, which are 2-hour sessions that you really keep the group organized, but more importantly, you continue to bring value out throughout those sessions. And that's a really important skill. And then when I called you and I had a question, you didn't ask me for a Cash App payment. You didn't ask me to swipe a credit card. You just said, hey, Jay, I've got a solution for you. Let me give you my view of the world. So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate all that you're doing to make this place and this world a much better place because of the value you're adding. And that's what we're talking about today. So yeah, I'm excited. And thanks to Eric Swanson, Habitude Warrior, they're doing some amazing things. And even in this virtual space, they are connecting probably more people now than ever. So shout out Eric Swanson, Mr. Awesome. There's your shout out, man. I did it for you, dude.
And he'll love that. He'll appreciate that. And he'll get the replay, or if we catch him in the morning, it'll be nice. But I want to know a little bit more about you, Shay, and I know my listeners are excited. Obviously, there's our background and how we met, but could you take a moment and just share with us a little bit about who you are and your story? How did you get to this point? And I'd love to know just any exciting details that you would like to share that would highlight, where you've come from and your successes along the way, and why you do what you do.
Sure. John, I'm still trying to figure out who I am, right? By the way, I'm still trying to figure that out. Although I recently got my AARP card, by the way, so you would think by now I would know what the heck is going on. But I know on one side I'm a son, right? Mother dear is still with us. She's 73 years old, and I'm enjoy being a son, taking care of mom. She lives in Alexandria, Virginia, by the way, right in Old Town, so you know where that is. That's right around the corner. So I still get to spend time with mom. So I'm a son first and foremost, by the way, but I'm also a father. My sons are grown now, but I've had the pleasure of being there and helping raise 2 boys, by the way, and making sure they can go do the things they want to do. So I enjoy being a father. That's cool. But I'm also now a husband, by the way. I'm on my 3rd marriage. Now, don't you guys judge me, okay? Don't judge me because I've had 2 divorces. Don't judge me because both times I failed, but I've been blessed to marry my high school sweetheart. Now, she didn't know she was my high school sweetheart, because when we were in high school and I was chasing her around, she didn't date me because she was a cheerleader and I wasn't a football player and I wasn't a basketball player. So I wasn't in that cool people's crew. But then 20 years later, she was getting these emails from me. She says, are you the guy sending me all these emails? Yes, that's me, Shay Brown. Yes, that's me. And so we end up going out and we end up dating. And I'm really, really excited because now I told her we are now married and so happy. So I know that I'm also a husband, but I also know, John, that I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a contributor to these United States of America, paying my taxes and making sure we do the right things here. And so as an entrepreneur, I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. Let me give you the 2-minute story if I can. I've only worked for 2 companies my whole career. I worked for Citibank after undergraduate. I went to Morgan State University, never did sales. And then after finishing graduate school, I went to Johns Hopkins University, which is in Baltimore, Maryland, by the way, and I didn't do sales there either. And then back on May 31st, 2004, Verizon gave me the pink slip, or they laid me off. And maybe some of you know what it's like to be laid off. Maybe you know what it's like to go through tough times. I decided I was going to do something different. My friends, people like John, who I didn't know at the time, and others, they had their own companies. So I said, I'm going to start my own company. Went down to Kinko's, got some business cards made up. The next day I hung my shingle out the door and I just called myself Coach Shay. And I got started. I was ready. I was fired up. How many of you were fired? How many of you were ready to do something? If I said, raise your hands right now, you're like, yeah, I was ready to do something. And then after 90 days in business, I was tired. I was frustrated. I was really struggling to make sales. And in short, I was out of money. And hence I learned the golden rule in business. You go ahead and jot the golden rule in business. The golden rule in business is to never run out of money, right? That's the golden rule in business. And the only way not to run out of money is to make more sales. Because you make more sales, you make more money. That's right. Money's not everything, but cash flow, I'm gonna tell you something. Cash flow, I'm gonna tell you something. It solves so many problems. So I wish I could tell you from that moment forward, things took off, but they didn't. How many wanted to do something and you were fired up again and it still went the same exact way?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm upstairs working like I am right now. And I'm coming down the home stretch, John, and I'm working, and all of a sudden there's this knock at the door. And all of a sudden my sons come up, they run, Dad. What's going on? What's going on? Someone's still in the car. What? We run downstairs, we look out the window, and there's my Lexus truck. I love that Lexus truck. It's being taken by a tow truck. I look at him, he looks at me, I give him a nod. He gives me a nod back. I look over at my sons, and I said, don't worry. The car is just going to the garage. I lied, okay? I lied. And it was in that moment that I had what I call the never again moment. You know, have you ever had that? Like, never again would I have to lie to my sons. Never again would I find myself in a situation where my lights are cut off. Never again would my car be repossessed. You take a moment, as you're listening right now, you take a moment and look down, and I want you to look back on your life. Now, your story might not be my story. I know I'm probably the only one out there, but what was your never again moment where you planted your flag, you drew a line in the sand, said, this will not happen again? And that's what I did in that moment.
Wow.
Never again would one customer make a determination whether I paid a bill. So who is Shay Brown? Shay is someone who's been to hell more than once, by the way. Yeah, I know you visit more than once, Shay. What's up with that? Okay. Don't judge me. Please don't judge me. But I've learned lessons from that. And from that never again moment, I decided I had to learn how to sell so I could help more people. And I'm gonna give you one phrase, and I'm gonna turn it over to John. And this is the one phrase that turned my life around. And here it is. Jot this, selling is power. Selling is power. Selling is power. Shay, what is selling? If selling is power, what is selling the power to do? Well, it's the power to pay my mortgage. Yes. Selling was the power to send my kids to college. Both kids had a chance to go, by the way. Selling was allow me to pay my mortgage. But how did you do it, Shay, in 1 minute, 30 seconds? How did you do it? Is this one phrase? And I shared this with a client recently, John, who told me that she was not in sales. And I remember when I first got started and started teaching, and I'm like, you're in insurance, but you're not in sales. Oxymoron, right? It's like you might be an entrepreneur and say, well, I'm not in sales, because Shay, when you think of a salesperson, you think of a used car slick person, right? With these yellow hats, white pants, green shoes, by the way, and burgundy shirt. That's not you. So I asked her a question. You're not a slick, fast talking person. I said, let me give you an idea that was passed on to me by my mentor. My mentor at the time was Eric Lofton. He gave me this idea. And I said, look, here it is. I'll share it with you. This will change your life. And here's the idea. I said, selling equals service. Yes. Selling equals, you jot that down in your notes. This is circle of knowledge. I had to bring my best here. You jot that down right now in your notes. Write it right now. Selling equals service. Selling equals service. Selling equals service. We're going to serve. We're going to add value, and then the money will come. So I said, I asked her 3 questions. I'm going to ask you this. I'm bringing it back to you, John. I asked her 3 questions. I said, look, let me ask you these 3 questions. And this created a breakthrough for her. She's now still full-time because of this one idea. Now, I'm sure she learned 1,000 ideas over the last 10 years, but she always gives me credit. I said, selling is about education. Can you educate people that there's a problem on the planet? Can you do that? Yeah, Shay, sheesh, I know how to do that. Okay, good, you're already good. I said, selling is about leading. Can you lead people, at least tell them how you solve a problem, whether they work with you or not? She said, yeah, I can do that. I said, well, selling is about moving people to action. When it makes sense, ask them, would they like to work with you? If they say yes, they say yes. If they say no, no big deal. To Shay, I can do that. Change her knife. Selling the service, selling the service, selling the service. I close with this last golden nugget. I'm coming to you, John. I said this. I said, listen, and I share this with all my clients. Don't chase the money. It's a little Shayism, but I believe this. Don't chase the money, add value, and the money will chase you. Over to you, John.
Oh man, there are so many golden nuggets in that section. I want to highlight just the one thing I walk away with right now is the definition of insanity, of course, we know is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right? Yeah. And when you Oh man, I love that perspective of selling a service. And if you can convince yourself, because a lot of us, and I've done this example before, I don't have my hats ready for me, but a lot of us, when they know it's time to sell, right? They put on this hat, and it's the salesman hat. And it's exactly as you described, the burgundy shirt, the yellow hat, and they put on this role, right? And they become this person who they're not. And then all of a sudden they start to make the sale based on the value of the sale rather than the person or the service that they're providing. And they oftentimes are disappointed or don't feel good about it. And it's not about the feeling, because a sale is service. It's providing a service to people, whether it was an oil change or, a new polo shirt to go wear on the golf course, whatever it is, it's a sale, right? But I love, love, love your attitude and your perspective on this, because a lot of people need to be convinced, and they need to be retrained, let's even say they need to be relearned. They need to be relearned.
Yeah, relearn. I like that.
Yeah, because sales isn't putting on a role. Sales is serving people. Sales is so important. And I think a lot of the times we get caught up in this, okay, I'm going to make a sale. And then you automatically think of the end result of that sale, which is I got money in the bank, right? I got money coming in the bank, which is going to allow you to do some things. But I love, love, love your perspective. So you guys, if you haven't already picked up on it, Shay is an expert in sales. He is a guru in sales, and I'm super excited to talk to him about some of the things that we wanted you to understand and discuss, because today we're going to be talking about how to build a seven-figure sales team. And when you do a seven-figure sales team, there's some things that Shay's going to tell you about that you need to know. And so you're going to get your pens out right now. So everybody get your pens out right now. I got my red pen, because the red pen means business. When you got a red pen out, when you were in grade school and you took your tests, or you took your quizzes, what did the teacher always do? She got a red pen out, right? She got a red pen out, and she marked up that page. So get your pens out. I got my red pen out to take notes, but I wanted to turn the time back over to Shay. And Shay, I wanted to just go into some of those details. And thank you, by the way, for sharing your background and your story. I'm touched and I'm amazed, and I'm just so impressed with where you've come and where you're headed, and now what you're going to do and share with these people. So let's ask the question: how do you build a seven-figure sales team, and maybe even add the preface of why it's important? I know we touched on sales as service, but tell me why it's important that we build a seven-figure sales team, and how do we do it?
Sure. John, the number one challenge facing entrepreneurs today is really how to get in front of qualified folks. And their labor always has to be involved when they're doing work. And many of you are listening out there right now. When you first became an entrepreneur, you didn't sign up to be the number one marketer. You didn't sign up to be the number one automation guru. You didn't sign up to be the number one tech person. You didn't, certainly by no stretch, you signed up to be the number one salesperson on your team. And if I was to step back and ask you today, like, who is the number one salesperson for your company? For many entrepreneurs, it's them. Yet, when they go look at their revenue, and I was talking to someone the other day, and they said, my bank account doesn't reflect how good I am, Shay. And if that's you right now, your bank account doesn't reflect how good you are, although you're doing all the sales, then you've got two options. Because that's the number one reason most companies run out of business is due to lack of revenue. And they need revenue to pay for their resources. Let me give you an idea first, and I'll give you how to build a seven-figure sales teams. But I believe, and this is why it's so important, that you generate revenue. It's not about the money. It's about the meaning you want to have in the world. It's not about the income you're going to make. It's really about the impact. And I know for many of you out there, you can make $1 and a difference at the same time when you bring in the revenue. I believe you have three visions I believe that you have right now. It takes revenue to fund those resources. First, you have a vision for yourself, the way you want to live. You've got a vision for the clothes you want to wear. You've got a vision for the food that you want to eat, organic, I'm sure. And it takes revenue, which means it takes resources, right? It takes revenue to get those resources. I believe you have a second vision. John asked me, who am I? But let me ask you who you are. You might have a vision for your loved ones, the ones you care the most about, the home that you want to live in, the school. You want to send your kids to a school of your choice. You want to write a check for someone right now for their healthcare insurance, or you want to fund the causes you believe in. You know what that takes? It takes resources. You know what that takes? It takes revenue. But this is the number one reason why you want to build a sales team, is because you, right now, you got in business because you have a vision for the people you were called to serve. If it's too loud, y'all, let me know if you hear any music. You shouldn't hear any music. If you do, let me know. But you have a vision for the people that you were called to serve. And I want you to imagine for a moment right now that you're Noah in the Bible. Now, this is one of my favorite examples. You don't have to be a believer. You don't have to be a believer. I happen to be a believer. You don't have to be a believer. But there's this book, and inside the book, there's a guy named Noah. And I want you to imagine that Noah shows up, and he's ready to execute the vision he has, because he's been given all the resources, I believe, from God. He's been given all the experience, I believe, from God, and he's ready to go. And right before Noah knocks, there's a knock at the door. Noah's like, what's up? What's up, guys? Noah, over here. Noah, excuse me, right here. Noah, you see me here? Yeah. Noah, I want to report there are no hammers in the house. Okay, cool. I can deal with that. No hammers in the house. We okay. Okay, Neil? Yeah. What? Noah, over here. You see me? Yes. I might as well come confess. I can't find any nails either. No hammers, no nails. Rule number one is we never panic. We never panic. Gee, Moniz, I hope this is it. Noah, there's no people and there's no wood. Good luck on this mission. And maybe that's you right now. You've got the big heart. You already believe. You got the passion already inside of you. You read all the books. You watched the YouTube videos, joined all the mastermind groups you can join. And guess what? There is no revenue, so there's no resources, and there are people out there that need your help. And so why do you want to have a 7-figure sales team? Because folks can reach people you can never reach that help solve their problems, to generate revenue that frees you up to do other stuff. Let me go ahead and share an idea, and I'm going to tell you how to build a 7-figure sales team, because John right behind him has 2 books, and they're both very important books. He got out there prop for a reason, right? He got the habits. He got high performance habits, Brendan Bouchard. He got the one thing. And they're both very, very important. Now, it took some resources. John had to have some revenue, unless someone gave him the book, to actually get the book. So let me give you a Shea golden nugget. I'm gonna give you a formula. Before I talk about how to build a 7-figure sales team, I've got to give you, because in those books are formulas, right? In those books are keys to success. You've heard this before, success leaves clues. So don't believe me. Listen to my clients. One of my clients was struggling, and she said, Shay, I know I need to build a sales team, but I can't really get going right now. What can I do now? What can I do now? I need some help now. Here's what I told her. I'm gonna share it with you. I gave her the formula. The formula is called S plus S plus S equals S. I know it's a lot of S's, right? But go ahead and write that down. S plus S plus S equals S. We're at the circle of knowledge. You only showed up to get the knowledge. That's why John has these conversations. The Circle of Knowledge podcast is not about you being intellectually stimulated. It's not about you being motivated. It's about what can you walk away with and what can you do today? He said, Shay, before we get started, you got to tell me something they can do today. I'm like, oh my gosh, John, why didn't you tell me this a week ago? But it's okay. I came ready. I came ready this morning because I know you're ready. This is your moment. This is your time. Today is your January 1st. So let me give you the formula. The first S is systems plus strategy plus sales equals a successful CEO. Let me say that again. Systems plus strategy plus sales equals successful CEO. Now let me break that thing down in the time I have. Let me just unpackage it. My core philosophy of my company is this. Put this in your notes. I'm glad y'all are taking notes. Since some people, they're always writing down ideas. And here it is. Systems beat goals every single time. Systems beat goals every single time. I'll say it one more time so you get that. Systems beat goals every single time. Shay, why do you say that? Because goals are always in the future. We're never in the future. We're always trying to get to the goal. And the systems that we have in place to get us to that goal. So systems are duplicatable, systems are repeatable, and systems can go on without your labor. That's why you want to have a 7-figure sales team. You're giving them a system for someone else to go do what you need to go do. Now, I did mention the Bible earlier. Please don't judge me. I'm a Pentecostal preacher's son, okay? I just am. But one guy even had to have 12 disciples, right? He even had 12. So if he need a team, what's up with you, right? Put this in your notes. Success is a team sport. You can only get so far by yourself. So my client that I told you is systems beat goals. She said, Shay, I want to make 6 figures in my business. I have a system, but it's all on my back. I said, well, it's time to change that. Okay, Shay, I can do that. So systems plus a strategy. What is a strategy? A strategy is the idea you're going to implement to give to the system. So it's just a strategy. We believe in the evergreen revenue model. Topic for another time. Hint, hint, John, have back again.
Yes, I love that.
Evergreen revenue model. Topic for another time. Hint, hint, hint. So systems plus your strategy plus sales. Now, what is sales? I gave a definition for sales earlier. Sales provides you the revenue, the purchase, the resources, the website, the team, the administrative assistant, by the way, the ClickFunnels, the MyFunnels, the Infusionsoft, the Facebook ads, the marketing team, the coach, the consultant. Revenue provides the resources you need, equals a successful CEO. So Shay, what is a successful CEO? Everybody keeps saying, you're the happy entrepreneur. You even have the happy entrepreneur show. Well, I do, but that's my big give back. You decided to be legal and go down there and build an enterprise in these United States of America. I know y'all listen all over the world, okay? But in America, that means you have an enterprise. So to be a successful CEO, put the definition down. A successful CEO is someone who has more cash flow coming in. Hello, holla at your boy. That's cash coming in. They have profits, higher profits. That means they spend less than they make. Come on, somebody. Plus they have the freedom, and that's what you probably want, the freedom to do the things they want to do when they want to do them. So now you have a formula: systems plus a strategy plus sales equals a successful CEO. So I want you to jot this down in your notes. I am a successful CEO. And that's not just one of those belief statements. That's not an affirmation. That is a goal that you have. I am a successful CEO. I have more cash flow, more profits, and I got freedom to spend with my family. Freedom to do what I want to do. Freedom that I don't have to worry about sales. Freedom I don't worry about when the website's updated. To do the things that I want to do. And isn't that why you got in business? At the end of the day, so you can help more people. And the mission is much bigger than yours. So how do you build a seven-figure sales team? That was John's question, but I wanted you first to have the foundation and understand about systems, because I'm a marathon runner. I've run 5 marathons, okay? It's not about running marathons, not about running 26.2 miles, not about running, but I want you to hit a point here. When I first decided to run a marathon, it's because Oprah Winfrey had run a marathon. I thought to myself, I was a young whippersnapper back then, by the way. If Oprah Winfrey can run a marathon, I know I can run a marathon. I didn't know what a marathon was, okay? But I read in the magazine, I was like, I'm doing this thing. So I went out, signed up, decided I'm gonna run this marathon, got started. I was in the action, just like you. I was excited. Oh my gosh, excitement took me so far. Then about mile 17, I hit something called the wall. Yeah. Now the wall is something you hit when you run a marathon. That means you can go no further. Some of you hit the wall in your life, the wall with a relationship, the wall with your finances, the wall with your children, the wall getting customers, the wall getting past that automation, whatever the wall is for you, the wall of sales. I hit that wall and I stopped. I mean, I had nothing left to give. And all I could do was put one foot in front of the other foot, in front of the other foot, in front of the other foot. And I walked, okay? I walked about 2 or 3 miles before I can get going again. Wow. And isn't that how life is sometimes in business? You've got to keep on going no matter what. Shay, what's your point? My point is, if you don't want to sell or if you hate selling, the best thing you can do is hire someone who does. Let me give that to you again. That's a Shay Brown ism. I'm gonna give it to you again. If you don't want to sell, maybe you don't want to sell, that's the best use of your time. The best use of your time is writing content. The best use of your time is speaking. The best use of your time is producing videos. If you don't want to sell or you hate selling, I hated selling, but I needed it. I still hate selling, but I needed it. If that's you, then yeah, I hate sales too. Don't worry about it. Then the best thing you do is hire someone who does. So when you think of building a 7-figure sales team, John, I'm gonna give a 5-step formula, and then I'll turn it back to you and we'll continue to answer questions. But I wanted to lay the framework that entrepreneurs today, they don't struggle because they don't know what to do. They don't struggle because they need another YouTube video. They don't struggle because they gotta read another book. They struggle and go out of business and go back and get a job because it's just not enough revenue to support their family, to take care of the vision they have, to pay their mortgage, to save for retirement, to go on the fancy vacations that we're gonna go on once again. We're gonna go back to those restaurants. Some of you with the white tablecloths. I get it in the lobster and the shrimp. I get that. And some of you wanna have the vegan plates, and some of you wanna travel from this part of the country to another part of the country. I get that. Some of you send their kids to college, and that's why they struggle. Now, if you're listening and saying, "Shit, I can't even afford a sales team," I would say the first person you should hire is a salesperson. There are 5 components you need of a 7-figure sales team. And the good news is, if I was to ask the question right now, how do you even build a 7-figure sales team? You might say, truthfully, I never thought about that. No, seriously. Like, if I ask, how do you build a if we looked at your plan right now, and in your plan, we went and said, I've taken all these classes. I've got the One Thing book. I've got High Performance Habits. Anywhere in here does it tell me to build a 7-figure sales team? But you want to make $1 million. I get that. Okay. But it doesn't show. So it's all on you. And that's a lot of pressure for one person. Matter of fact, I know very few people who've ever done it by themselves. Somebody said I alone can't do it. Now, again, I don't want to go there. But so what's up with us? So there's 5 components of a 7-figure sales team. Let me give you the 5 components, and another time we'll break them down. But I want you to have them, because if that question's ever raised, and you see me at a future place, and I hope we get a chance to connect, I want you to have these. The first component you need is a sales rep. A sales rep works on 100% commission. That's the key, 100% commission, and they understand all of your products and services. So if you got a sales rep, they work on 100% commission. And let me imagine, I was at a seminar. I said, Shay, I can't do this, Shay. You don't understand. My finances are tight. I'm in such a tight hole right now. I don't know what to do. I said, well, let's just break this down for a moment. Imagine for a moment, you taking me up on this. Now, we'll help you hire someone. I get it. 100% commission, no money out of your pocket. So one of my clients, Carol, I mentioned Carol, took me up on this. She didn't have a sales rep. She had an admin person. I said, well, I would find someone to do that. Imagine, Carol, they go out and they bring in $20,000 of revenue. Now, we're going to just make that number up. Some of you, that's high. Some of you, that ain't even scratch the surface, okay? But let's say $20,000 of revenue. And you decide you're going to pay a 20% commission. Some of you is higher, some of you is lower. Look, just for argument's sake, $20,000 minus $4,000 you pay in commissions for labor, because they did the deals, gives you $16,000 of profit. This took place while you were at the gym. I know that's where you want to go at some point. This took place while you were on vacation. I know you want to get on the beach. This took place while you were sitting here watching what I'm watching right now. Your business never stopped because you had a sales person. And they understand 100% of your products. You got to train them, but they're there. If you're listening right now and I was asked the question, how much revenue did you generate over the last 90 days from a sales rep? Most folks, the answer is 0 or not enough. Let's go with not enough right now. I don't want to put you on the spot. The second component you need of a 7-figure sales team, and y'all all can do this. It doesn't cost you a dime to do this. The second component you need is a sales affiliate. Now, a sales affiliate is a little bit different, okay? Because the sales affiliate, and we help folks put together their sales affiliate programs. We help them with the software so they don't have to worry about that, okay? So this is not extra work. This is extra revenue. Someone put extra revenue. But now you know, no extra work, just extra revenue. John, I need to write that one down. No extra work, just extra revenue. The extra 0 effect. I think I might write that down myself. That's a pretty good idea. Okay, but anyway, in all seriousness, sales affiliate. Now, what makes the sales affiliate different than the sales rep? The sales affiliate understands they're in it just for the money. They're mercenaries. They're in communities you're not in. They drive traffic to your website that you could never drive. And they get paid a commission to bring in revenue. That's because they could be someone, if Shay Brown does websites, maybe he has an affiliate with a coach. And so every time a coach brings in a client, he refers it to Shay Brown. Shay Brown pays what? A commission back or affiliate fee. Now, if you're sitting there right now and you're like, okay, Shay, but how much money I got to put up? 0. Okay, Shay, I've heard about this. This is not a conversation on what you heard. No, it's not a conversation on what you know. It's a conversation, John, talking about the circle of knowledge and what are you doing every moment of every minute of every day to actually implement this. So I want you to make a commitment. You're going to have a sales rep. If not, you promise me you'll have a sales affiliate team. Does that make sense? Now, let me give you the other 3 quickly, John, then I'll come back to you and take any questions, or we'll go to the next point. The third one I want to give you in the time I have is a sales ambassador. Now, Shay, how is a sales ambassador different than a sales rep? Remember, a sales rep works on 100% commission and understands all your problems. Okay, Shay, but how's a sales ambassador different than a sales affiliate? The sales affiliate, they're mercenaries. They're only in it for the money. Yeah, you think about them, you think about an Apple. When you go into Apple, Apple only produces 30% of the products in there. The other 70% they're affiliate of. They're selling other people's stuff. Works great. Now, a sales ambassador, this is important. They're not in it for the money. They're in it because they believe in the mission, the goals, and the objectives of your organization. Jot that down in your notes. They're not in it for the money. I participate in a lot of stuff right now. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it because I believe in the mission, the goals, and objectives. You might already have mentors like this, mentees, people you're working with. You never really consider them sales ambassadors, but the sales ambassadors, they want two things. They want two things. Sales ambassadors, they want reward and recognition. Reward and recognition. Put down your notes. They want reward and recognition. Those are sales ambassadors. And you might be sitting there right now saying, Shay, oh my gosh, you mean to tell me that mentees I'm mentoring right now and other folks, I should anoint them sales ambassadors? Call them whatever you want. I call them sales ambassadors because they're out there. And you know what? In many cases, they will outperform the sales affiliate. They'll speak up for you when you're not there. They'll introduce you to partnerships you could never introduce yourself to. They'll start collaborations for you that wasn't possible. I'm here right now on this one with John, and something else that I donate time to. We all do donate time to different things, not about that, but Eric Swanson connected me. And because of that relationship, there's someone named Joseph McClendon III, who will be now mentoring with and who will now be at my event. And it was because of an ambassador who went out on my behalf and said, this is the guy. I had no idea. So you want to have sales ambassadors as part of your 7-figure sales team. See, I started off earlier and you thought it was funny, but I said systems beat goals every single time. You've got a goal of $1 million, whatever your number is, at least $1 million. I hope you ain't business for your health. $1 million. The question is, how do I get to $1 million? The question is, who can get me to $1 million? In many cases, a 7-figure sales team will get you there. I gave you 3. The other 2 is a digital sales solution and a sales cheerleader. John, for those folks that just text me or write in, I'll give them my number. I'll send that to them because I want to answer some more questions. I got on a training thing here and I kind of got excited because I know for some of you, if you can just get the sales reps working for you, and you can generate an extra $50,000 or $100,000 in revenue without your labor, you're going to sleep well at night. I know for others of you, if you have sales and affiliates out there and you get that organized, we give you the systems to do that, then you're going to feel really good about that. Some of you, if you just have a sales ambassador team, you're going to feel good about that. And that's what we love doing at the Sales Team Guru is that, you know, we're the #1 selling team for entrepreneurs. Because some entrepreneurs, they want to augment their time with someone else selling for them. So John, I'm gonna give them my number. If they want to text in, they can. I'll just send them the report. They can read it in their spare time. I did a 3-part. Is that okay? It's a gift. There's no upsells or downsells. It's just a gift. I love it. Okay, for those folks that are out there, you're like, hey Shay, I just want to get this, Shay. This is my year, Shay. I need resources and I know I need revenue. And I'm tired of doing all the sales myself, or I love doing all the sales, but I know I cannot get to a 7-figure sales team without that. I want you to text. This is my personal number. Now, many of you are not going to text me, okay? Statistically speaking, all of you are not going to do this, but you can. Yep. No, you can. So the number I want you to text, let me give you my number first. The number is 202-270-1662. Just put 202-270-1662. Now, when you open, don't write it down, you guys. That's so 1980s. Why would you want to write it down? That's so 1980s. Boy, and put it in your phone right now. 202-270-1662. Once you do that, I want you to put circle of knowledge. That's the code word. Circle of knowledge. That's the code word. Just 202-270-1662. Put circle of knowledge. I'll know you were here. Now, you might get a hold of this long lost video file. If that's you, congratulations. You can still text in. It's on the honor system. So you've got to do it in the next 10 minutes. It's on the honor system. Now, once you text, I want you to enter your first name so I know who you are, so we know who we're sending it to. Your last name might be more than one John on the planet, okay? Enter your best contact number because we might just email you the link. And some of you still put your email in because some of you, you want to email. Email is best for you. No big deals. But here's why you want to get the 7-figure sales team blueprint. Here's why you want it, because you want to bring in extra revenue without your labor. The fastest, easiest way to grow your business is to serve more people. You serve plus add value, and the magic happens right there. So this is your time. I'm super excited. I can't wait to get this information over to you. I can't wait for you to change your business. And when you do it, send me a note and say, Shay, guess what? I'm generating revenue and I was never there. Over to you, John. Taking it.
Oh man, Shay, I have got notes, man. This is fantastic. Oh, and I want to touch on one thing before we move on, but the man, there's so much power in that. And thank you for sharing. I know that you started to give, you were getting into the 5 steps, and I want our listeners to know all the 5 steps, but I want them to engage with you. So we've jotted down that number, and I think you're right, Shay. No one writes numbers down anymore because that's just so old school. You guys need to punch it in your phone and send Circle of Knowledge to Shay with that number right now. Do it right now, and he'll get you set up. This is so cool, and I'm so glad you shared that because I usually do that somewhere towards the end, but it was so organic and so awesome how you did it. And I love it because people want solutions and they need answers now. And I love the difference between rep, affiliate, ambassador, and then you talked a little bit about digital sales solutions and then moving on into the 5th step. Man, I love that stuff. It reminds me of the E-Myth. I read that book as a fresh entrepreneur, learning the difference between systems versus the entrepreneur and the visionary and so forth. And I love that because systems create outcomes, and I love that, and I say that over and over and over again. Good systems create outcomes. Outcomes are the results of good systems, and I just think that's important. One person in particular, we've got a few questions here, but I want you guys, if you wrote down a question in the chat section, I want you to text him. I want you to text him right now and ask that question. But we've got Jake from Texas.
What's up, Jake from Texas? I love Texas. I spent half my life in San Antonio.
Right. And
Loving it.
Jake is saying, how do you meet the right people to start filling these rep roles, the affiliate roles? And he asked, he said specifically, he says, would you go door to door? Would you go to masterminds? Would you go to networking events? Where do you find the right people to fill the rep role, to fill the affiliate role, and to fill the ambassador role, and so forth? Where do you find the right people?
Sure. So let me go and answer that question with 3 letters. So we'll just make it real easy. I think easy is duplicatable and duplicatable is repeatable, right? So I think it's easy. It's 3 words. And the 3 letters are just ask, A-S-K. You're going to start asking. And when I say start asking, what I mean by that is in your marketing messages, you're going to go ahead and communicate out that you're looking for a sales ambassador. You might not call it sales. For some of you, that's going to scare some of you. You might say, I'm looking for ambassadors for my company who can represent our mission. Our mission is blank. And the most important part is the mission. That's the most important part. That's what people buy into. You can't buy them, especially for ambassadors. So first part is to ask, but you've got to ask with a slightly different way. Now, you can do it inside of social media groups. There's LinkedIn, Facebook, all the groups to go to now. But the best way I've learned is to start asking to my existing list. Now, that's number 1. Number 2 is you can always run Facebook ads, but I'm trying to give it to you first organically. Yeah. Organically means it don't cost you a dime. I would do that. Secondly, I would then do at least a mastermind session, a webinar, a conference call, and then I would start mentioning why you're working with other folks in this collaboration and ask who is interested. You'll find that other entrepreneurs, they're like you and maybe like I was. And like my good friend was Samantha. Samantha said, Shay, sometimes being an entrepreneur, I feel like I'm on an island. This is why she joined. I'm on an island. I said, what in the LL Cool J are you talking about? On an island? She says, yeah, because I'm in my office. I got my phone, I got my computer, and I'm working and everything. And then I'm talking to people, but it's just me. And so I want to connect with other folks out there. And so when I saw your email saying you're looking for folks who want to be ambassadors and looking to start collaboration partnership, because it is a collaboration partnership. They're going to be ambassador for you, but there may be ways you can help them. So you want to help them as well. Jot this in your notes, especially with ambassadors and affiliates. Ambassadors and affiliates, put this in your notes. People will pay you today if you help them solve a problem today. You're in the problem-solving business. That's the #1 business you're in. So when you are collaborating, Jake, and you're trying to bring on ambassadors, you're not paying them. or you're bringing on affiliates, they've got a problem. Their problem might be John does websites. His problem might be, well, I'm not saying John does that, but I'm trying to connect other people who looking for websites, or they're looking to be in part of other partnerships. I'm involved in several different masterminds. I swear I work harder in one mastermind, which you know about, John, a habitude warrior, than any mastermind I've ever been in, because it's really engaging. It's really engaging, but that's where the magic happens. So number one, ask. Number two, ask. Number three, for sales reps, you've got to put a posting out. Yeah. And I would highly recommend in that case that you really consider running sponsored ads, even if you have a budget of $100 a month, and just simply say, I'm looking for someone to join my team. In exchange for joining my team, I'm willing to blank. So if you're a coach or a speaker, or author, a trainer, or a network marketer, you can impart your knowledge back to someone else. And that begs the question, right? How you be paid more for what you know than you can do. Well, when you bring on ambassadors, you bring on affiliates, and you bring on sales folks, you're now giving back to them as they're giving back to you. And that's part I didn't mention in the very beginning. There's some traditional ways to recruit. I got that. I can teach you how to interview. I got that. We can teach you how to train. I got that. But at the end of the day, the core message is, when I talk to most entrepreneurs, they say, I never really asked. Not one person. Yeah, you didn't ask anybody if they were looking to be mentored by you, or they're looking to be an ambassador, or if they were interested in offering your product to their network. Well, no, I just been too busy. Too busy? How can you be too busy? You need more revenue. And so, okay, just real quick. Talking to Carla, and Carla said, Shay, there's not enough time in the day. I said, there's plenty of time. There's 1,440 minutes. So it's never about time management, it's about time choices. I said, you've chosen to do everything yourself, so that's cool. But one of the things that I teach, even with the 7-figure sales team, remember, you don't have to do it. The answer to who doesn't have to be you. See, that's the good news. The answer to who doesn't have to be you. You can turn over to a sales team that's going to sell for you. But with her, I said, there are 1,440 minutes in every day. And I said, do you know what the key is? I said, you know what the key is? She said, what? I said, it's not a new idea. So you're not gonna be blown away by this idea. None of you are, but she wasn't doing it. And you think about it, how many ideas do you need to change your life? One. Jot this in your notes. One. Put this in your notes. One good idea implemented is better than 1,000 ideas you know right now. And that's what I like about the Circle of Knowledge podcast and what John is doing. John is bringing you more than one idea. You grab one idea. I'm going to drop 50 on this session. You grab one idea and say, I'm implementing one idea implemented is better than 1,000 ideas you know right now. So I said, there's a 25th hour. 25th hour, Shay, what? No, seriously, there's a 25th hour. And that 25th hour comes by one or two ways. It either comes through automation, or it comes through other people's labor. Those are two ways. See, there's two things you control. Most folks in the motivational world, there's only one thing you control every day. You control your mindset and you control your actions. You control your mindset and you control your actions. And that is true. I would never argue with that. But I would put the Shay Brown remix version on it. Because I'm part of the Puff Daddy generation, okay? It's just what we do, baby. Is what we do. And the Shay Brown remix version on that is you control your time. You control your time. So I asked her, I said, look, let's see how we can get someone else to do more time, because an hour is worth more than an hour. I'm on this podcast, on this show right now with you. My team is making phone calls. So this 1 hour is worth more than an hour, because I've got 10 people that are making calls, that's 10 hours. If 1,000 of you are watching right now, and so many more of you will watch later, then this is 1,000 hours. So sometimes an hour is worth more than an hour. So automation is the 25th hour. Now, by her taking me up on that one idea, and her getting serious about really having her own selling team, and understanding that that's where she wanted to put the money at, it made a difference for her. And until then, she was trying to cross her assistant, admin / part-time person doing multiple things. And I said, look, I learned this from John Maxwell. Had nothing to do with leadership, but I learned it from him. Man, he said, hey, look, the number one thing you can do is hire good people.
Yes.
To do one thing. Hire the best that you can afford. So I said, right now, this person's doing multiple things and they're multiple talent, but why don't you hire the best person just to do admin and then offset the selling to someone else. Because if you don't want to sell, John, guess what? The best thing you can do is hire someone who does. Back over to you.
Oh man, I am filling up Post-its and Post-its. There's one thing before we transition over to the last part of our show today is there's something you said, and I think this is going to lead into what action item, what thing can we challenge our listeners to do today, the one thing. And I wanted them to obviously send a text over to you. I want them to use that code, Circle of Knowledge, and I want them to get in contact with you. But what is the one thing? And you said something that I'm just so curious, and I believe it's going to tie into this answer. You said, today is my January 1st. Could you explain that? Could you tell us a little bit about that and how that equates to possibly your challenge to our listeners? What's the one thing that they can do today?
Sure. So one of our core values here is this mantra. It's our core belief. And our core belief is that today is my January 1st. Let me say it again, that today is my January 1st. And what that core belief is, if you're out there right now, just jot that down in your notes. Today is my January 1st. Today is my January 1st. For those that are hearing it for the first time, we don't wait for the calendar to say January 1st. Okay, we don't do that. We create a January 1st moment with every decision we make, because we understand that today is my January 1st means I get a fresh start. I get a do-over, that my past does not equal my future, that I can get going today. And I want you to think right now, as you look back, a January 1st moment, you either go to the gym or work out while you're home now, or you sit back and you binge watch on Netflix. That's a January 1st moment. You either make a decision, you're gonna have hamburgers and French fries, salt, pepper. Some of you want some ketchup. You gotta have some hot sauce. Or January 1st moment, you're gonna go to the refrigerator. You're gonna open up the refrigerator. Inside the refrigerator, there's some kale. I love to say kale. Oh, there's some Brussels sprouts. Oh, that's so good. I think I'll have some broccoli. See, that's a January 1st moment. There are probably 1,000+ moments throughout the day where you get to make a decision, and that decision could forever change the trajectory of your life. What decision can you make right now? If you tell yourself, today is my January 1st, I'm gonna build a sales team. Today is my January 1st, I'm gonna work out. Today is my January 1st, I'm gonna spend more time with my wife, with my family, with my kids. Today is my January 1st. Now, as you're saying that, and you realize that this is the first start for you, you get a do-over, you hit the reset button. I don't want you to be just excited like you were back on December 31st. After a few drinks, on the back of a napkin, you started writing down these resolutions. We know how that ended, right? Matter of fact, if I asked you what your resolutions were, some of you wouldn't even know what you were right now. I don't know what I wrote down, Shay. I forgot. It's okay. Today is my January 1st. And so you get a fresh start. So you say, Shay, what's the one thing that can keep me going? How do I stay on this path? That's the question John's asking, because you made a decision. And Tony Robbins says, make a decision. I love Tony Robbins. I watch Tony Robbins. I've been to the concerts. I love Tony Robbins. You must decide. It's in your decisions that your destiny is formed. But I told you I'm part of the Puff Daddy generation, okay? So we got to have the remix version. I can't argue with Tony Robbins, but I can add the second part of the formula that I got from my father, Marshall Brown. Marshall Brown is no longer here, passed away May 2nd of 2017. But one of the things that he used to say when I used to bring my friends over to the house all the time, and he'd get them around, and he used to work down at Ben's Chili Bowl, by the way, a historic place in Washington, D.C., being the sage, telling everybody what's going on, the history of D.C. and civil rights and what it took. And he loved doing that. He used to always say, and they would be around, he said, look, it's easy not to do, everybody. And it's easy, if it's easy to do, it's easy not to do. But if it's hard, it's the first thing you should do. And he would just smile. And I'm like, here we go again. Here comes the punchline. He would wait. And somebody always says, why do you say that? And he would just light up, like he was just waiting for that question. I'm like, yeah, here we go. And he would say the same thing. And this is what I'm telling you right now, because today is your January 1st. He says, doing the hard things develops discipline. And he would give the formula. D plus D equals D. And I'm done. D plus D equals D. Let me give you the formula. Decisions. Make a decision right now. This is your year. Today is your January 1st. You got a fresh start. Decisions plus discipline. Discipline is doing the things you know you should do when you don't feel like doing it. If there was one word that you would sum up for success, Shay, if there was one way you would wrap this all into one place, I would say discipline, because you're taking action, doing the things you should do, equals dominion. D plus D equals D. Dominion means, well, I told you I grew up in a Pentecostal church, okay? It means that you have ownership over what's going on. Some of you are not gonna relate to that, so y'all just put down dominate, okay? That's your word, dominate. But daddy used to say, you have dominion, you have control. But when you don't have discipline, this is the remix version for Tony Robbins, it's decisions minus discipline equals, well, Shay, everybody listening, a disaster. And so I'm going to ask right now that when you make a decision that today is my January 1st, and you decide what you're going to do, that you also tune in and say, I'm going to have the discipline, because I know that consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. And have said that what the Muslims struggle with most, consistency. That's no longer you. Today is my January 1st. You got this thing. It's your time. There is no plan B. There is no do-over. We're going to just reach the goal, reach the top, and you will succeed, because today is my January 1st. You tell yourself that 7 times a day for the next 7 days. I promise you, the best is still yet to come for you.
Man, and I wish there was like a cut end scene after that, because that was so awesome, but we're still going. This is how great it is. Today is my January 1st. I love that challenge. Thank you for sharing that with my listeners. I'll make sure to include that in the show notes for those of you catching up on this or not catching the live, but we wanted you to know that today you can make a decision. Today you can dominate. And I absolutely appreciate you, Shay. And thank you for just continuing to emulate that message and to share resources. For those of you who jumped on recently and didn't catch the beginning, please check the show notes and some of the comment section. We have posted a phone number that you can reach out to Shay. It's 202-270-1662, and type in the code word circle of knowledge, and that will put you in touch with him and send you some pretty awesome resources, including the 5-step formula for a 7-figure sales team. And I'm already, guys, listen to me. I've got 3 Post-its of notes, and I bled onto a 4th one because this was absolutely invaluable. This was incredible information, and you're not going to get this type of information by going to YouTube or reading these books that I have over my shoulder. You'll find the keys, you'll find successes, but these are immediate, these are actionable, and these are things you can take. And Shay, thank you so much for taking the time to share this incredible knowledge with my listeners, and I hope that they will reach out to you. I hope, and I encourage and invite you all to reach out to Shay today. There's a reason why we brought him on. And this is why I love doing this show. This is why I love doing this at all, is because while I am interviewing, I am taking copious notes. And I am learning as well. I am trying to improve and increase and better myself. And I think that we should all do that as well. So take the action today to do so. Shay, thank you so much for taking your time to being on this opportunity and taking this hour. I know it costs you opportunities and costs you money, but knowing where you put your focus is definitely an honorable and I'm in a thing of gratitude I want to share with you. So I appreciate you, and I thank you for your time. And is there any last imparting words that you'd like to share with our group? In fact, I'd like to just share this because you shared about the story about your son, and he was like, Daddy, the car's being taken away. Like, oh, it's just going to the garage, right? I'd love to know, what is like, what is an opposite moment for that? What's something that you've been proud of that you've been able to do since that moment, since you made that decision to bring prosperity into your life? What's something that you can leave us with that would say the benefits or the blessings that come from the sale that you create?
Sure. So there I was less than 2 weeks ago taking a phone call from a gentleman who I know, who I respect a whole lot. And he was on the other line, and he called to let me know that he appreciated a video that I had just recorded when I was running in the rain 2 days prior. And then he started crying. Now, I've talked to women, no offense, on the phone, and sometimes they get emotional and they start crying, but I've never talked to a guy that I knew, as close as I know him, and started crying. And he said, Shay, I get to watch some of your stuff, but that moved me, and it moved me in a way that I was in a place of depression, that I found a very dark place right now. And it's been really hard for me dealing with this whole COVID, with things crashing down on me, my relationship, and the guy's crying, and I'm on the other line like, whoa, is everything okay? I need to call someone, because you don't know about these situations. And he said, but when you said today is my January 1st, and when you said that you can do it, and you said, I believe in you. I said, if you're out there watching me now, and I just believe in you, and thank you. And that was just, and I say, I appreciate it. And that was the extent of our conversation. And the reason I say that is, it's not about the money. It's about the lives that we touch. That video was one that I'm a runner, and I was doing just a regular 3-mile run. It was dark and cloudy. And I said, I'm going to go anyway, you know. And it started pouring down rain at the halfway mark. So got about a mile and a half back home. And the video was only like 1 minute and 13 seconds. You can see it on my page. And I grabbed my phone. I said, well, I'm going to call Uber. I said, nah, mile and a half. I'm going to call Uber. Pouring down. I started running. Halfway, I said, well, I'm just going to do a quick video. And I did a quick video just to say that it's pouring, not that it was pouring down raining, that, hey, guys, I was about to quit. I mean, I don't need this. I mean, I don't, for what? Why, for what? No one's watching. No one gives a hootie tootie. And I said, there might be someone out there right now that's going through some times in your life. And even as you're watching right now, there might be some of you that it's time for you to have some comeback power. And you're going through something right now. And it's a challenge. We've all been there. And so my message to you would be that today is my January 1st, and that you got this. You've been successful 100% of the times that you've been in a dark, deep place. You got a 100% success rate. You woke up this morning. Your eyes are open, and you've got a really freaking good device because you're listening to this right now, or you're watching it on some long lost video in some archive somewhere. And so I will tell you that today is my January 1st. You tell yourself that 7 times a day for the next 7 days. Just say to yourself, today is my January 1st. I got this. And if you do that and you take action, you keep putting one foot in front of the other, in front of the other. And that's what I do that day I was running. I said, look, it's raining. I can't think about how far I got to go because I'm a quit, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to keep looking at my feet and splash, 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 and I'm going to get back. And for some of you, my message would be never give up, never give in, always keep going, no matter what. This is your moment. This is your time. You were born for this time right now. And today is my January 1st. With that being said, I want to thank the Circle of Knowledge podcast. John, thanks to you. Thanks for all your listeners who spent this very valuable time with me, man. I'm looking forward to connecting with you. You'll find me on social media. I'll connect back with you, and we'll start this wonderful collaboration. John, you're amazing. You're incredible. And for you and all the viewers, the best is still yet to come. Why? Because today is my January 1st. Over to you.
Hey, I love it. Thank you so much, Che, for your time. And I know we're at the top of the hour, so I am so grateful for you and your time and your knowledge that you've shared with you. To all of you listening today, to my listeners, to those who have followed us from the beginning and those who are just now joining us, I just want to say that knowledge we've always known. And I just had a motorcycle drive by outside, so I took over my microphone. But knowledge is power. And I'm going to add that. I'm going to call it my Shea Brownisms, okay? The Shane Brownisms. You were saying that earlier, Shay. I love it. I'm going to steal it for a minute. And my Shea Brownism of that is knowledge is power. And power is action, okay? Power is action. You cannot have as much power as possible power without action. And I wanted to just add that. So thank you, everybody, for taking action on the knowledge that you've received today. And this has been another wonderful hour. And I want you to play this back over and over again so that you get the information. And I want you to reach out to Shay. And you can find that in the show notes, and you can take care of it. So Shay, thank you again. I appreciate you. I honor you. I cannot wait to serve you in more ways as we move forward. And I appreciate you all. Everybody, thank you for joining us. This has been another hour of the Circle of Knowledge podcast.